All right, time to get into meta descriptions. This is a very important element of your SEO, especially for people searching on Google and the links that show up on that first search engine results page. So let's dive right in. A meta description is a concise description of the web page. It's kind of like a title tag in that it should be a summary, but it's a little bit different because a title tag is really keyword specific and it's meant to be a concise definition of that page, and it can only be 60 characters long. A meta description is a description of the page, but it's meant to be a little more salesy. And in fact, just as a side note, meta descriptions do not affect your rank on Google or your SEO strength. Google doesn't scan the strength of a meta description and then decide, I'm going to let this site rank above this one. But meta descriptions are a great influencing factor in whether or not somebody clicks on your link. So they don't actually affect your rank in Google, but they do affect your click-through rate. So meta descriptions are used by search engines to display a preview snippet of the web page. So that's what the kind of the technical way is of saying what a meta description does. But a meta description is a brief paragraph that describes what that is on that page. They should be 150 to 160 characters long. Any longer and it will trail off in an ellipses, just like on the title tag video that I showed you. They need to stick within those parameters because Google only has so much space to work with. Meta descriptions are more important for users. It's really focused for the individual searching for your product, your service, or what your blog content is about. A meta description is the thing that appears right under the title tag. I'll show you an example on the next slide, and it's meant to be compelling to get somebody to actually click on your link versus the one that's above it or beneath it. Meta description should really focus on pulling that person in to click on the link. Google and Facebook will auto-generate meta descriptions if you don't write one. You don't want that to happen. I've done so many SEO audits for clients and prospects where I ran an audit on their site and I showed them, look, you've got 457 pages on your site. 90% of them don't have meta descriptions. Or even worse, something we'll get into later, which is duplicate content. Their meta descriptions might all be the same for every single page, and you don't want that. You want a unique meta description for every single page, and you want the meta description to be concise, compelling, and something that's going to persuade the person to click on that link versus the other one. Now here are some examples of meta descriptions. I typed into Google defensive driving Dallas, and the first link that showed up was Texas defensive driving in Dallas area. That's the title tag to that web page. The second thing that shows up is the actual web address, the URL. The third element that shows up is the meta description. If you look at that first one, it says, great way to complete a defensive driving course. Notice that the keyword phrase defensive driving course is in the meta description. That's really important. Traffic school, auto insurance, reduction for ticket and dismissal, and then it just trails off. So a good thing about the meta description is it starts with kind of a catchy phrase, great way to complete a defensive driving course, and it's keyword specific. But the problem is they did not stick within that 150 to 160 character parameter. So whoever wrote the meta description for that site does not know SEO, and they don't know to be concise and compelling. And you have to really train yourself. It's hard to be concise when you write. It's easier almost to be verbose, but you have to train your mind to be keyword specific, concise, and compelling with these meta descriptions. So check out the next one. Online and live defensive driving classes, Texas, courses in, and then it trails off. So they blew it with their title tag. It is keyword specific, but it's too long. It goes past that 50 to 60 character range that Google allows for. And since they ran out, Google doesn't have enough space, so it just trails off in ellipses. Then you have the URL, and then you have the meta description. And look at this. It says, Comedy Guys offers online and live defensive driving classes. There's that keyword phrase in Texas. Classes available in Houston, Dallas, Fort Worth, Austin, and other Texas cities. So whoever wrote the meta description, actually, whether they did it on purpose or not, they stayed within the guidelines of 150 to 160 characters. And that's catchy to me. Comedy Guys. Right away, I know it's something that's funny. It's going to be a little more entertaining than some dry, dull, boring defensive driving class where I'm just like pounding the coffee to stay awake. This is something that honestly, even though that first link ranked above the other one, the first link was the ranked #1 on Google, because of the meta description, I would personally click on the second link instead. So that's the power of a meta description. They're meant to be compelling and they are meant to persuade you to click. So whatever you can do to be catchy, to hook people. And again, you don't want to do anything crazy like all caps letters or 10 exclamation points. In fact, if you do stuff like that too much, Google has algorithms in place that might consider your site to be spammy, and Google will prevent that, prevent your site from showing up if you do anything too crazy. So, but just be smart about it and try to do something that's concise and compelling and a little bit salesy. And you can go and analyze. Now that you know what a meta description is, you know what it's meant to do, you can go and analyze the other ones and see whether they are well written or not. But they definitely want to include a keyword phrase, and they definitely want to be concise and compelling. And like I say at the bottom of the page, the meta description should persuade the person to click. They need to include keywords and a call to action, like call us now, or view this video here, or look at this weird trick to do blank. Give somebody something to do. You don't want to just describe. You want to put a call to action, which actually these don't have. So they're very weak in that regard. They could be a lot stronger. And each page should have a unique meta description. Now you know what a meta description is and how to write one. It takes a little practice, but you do this and oftentimes you will actually get searchers to click on your link instead of your competition, even if it's above you, directly above you. You're one step closer to ranking on that first page of Google.